If I went and told you to sponsor a Formula One team or a MotoGP rider, you would quite rightly say, Frank, don't be an idiot. There is no way on earth I could possibly afford that. And you would be very right. However, we're not at MotoGP, we're at the TT, as you can see on those random balloons there, and I have absolutely nothing to do with them. And at the TT, sponsorship, I promise you, is within the realms of possibilities of most people. That's because at the TT, only the top 10, maybe top 20 riders are actually professionals who have works teams, who have big trucks, who have huge budgets, sponsors, advertisers, and the works. And pretty much everyone else are amateurs, many of them on very small and proper shoestring budgets. And if you walk around the lower paddock, which is where we are right now, and that I showed you in the paddock walk the other day, then you'll see that, you know, there aren't any big trucks down here and money can sometimes be tight. I'm not aware that there is any proper group or website at the moment where TT or Manx Grand Prix or Classic TT riders and possible sponsors can exchange themselves. If there is and I'm unaware, please post it in the comments. I'd love to feature it. But what I want to do in the meanwhile is, so the tent you see behind me, that's actually Matt Milcrease, the local rider, number 59 on the Super Twin. He'll be out next Wednesday, look out for him. A few friends and myself, we are one of his, or a few of his sponsors, so we're giving a bit of money. We call it the Bitcoin bike. And let's go and have a chat with him to see how much it costs to basically race a bike here and how you can possibly help. And here we are in Matt's tent with the bike and Matt himself. I'm going to try, and our cameraman's run away, so I have to
do it ourselves.
We'll manage. Right, so you're close to practice tonight, right?
Yep.
So let's just have a quick chat because I want you to get on with the job, as they say. So you're obviously one of the, how many amateurs this year, you reckon?
I think there's quite a few. I don't think there's many. I think there's a couple of them backed out. There's only about 3 or 4 Manx people in it, I think, this year. Yeah, in the Super Twin class anyway. I think there's a fair few in the other classes as well, but yeah.
And what do you reckon if you had to put a number on it? Because the video is more about, you know, people probably don't realize A, the small budgets that some of the guys, especially in the lower paddock, have. Yeah. And B, that you can actually support riders. So I'm guessing a lot of riders would be grateful for support.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, even just like little bits helps, you know, a long way. You know, even just, you know, I mean, even for fuel and things like that. You know, it's not just a case of, you know, people probably put off by, you know, you'd have to pump in a lot of money for a rider to sort of accept it, but it's not the case at all. You know. So
let's put some figures on it. How much is a load of fuel?
A load of fuel, I think we worked out, is about, I could be wrong, it could be different at the time as well. It's about, I think it's about 22 or 23 quid for 20 litres of fuel. And we're running about 16.5 litre tank to 17 litres, I think it is in there. So yeah,
doing one TT, how much do you go for?
Yeah, well, I can't remember now. On the big bike, I think an 18, oh geez, I think it was about 800 or 900 quid's worth of fuel, I think. And that was that was for 2 weeks, that was. I could be well out on that. I'm just sort of trying to remember really. But
how about tyres?
Tyres and stuff. Yeah, it depends on the model of the bike. If you're running, you know, a bigger bike, you know, you tend to use a lot more tyres, you know, on the bigger bike. But the smaller bikes, they just tend to. I mean, I probably only used 2 sets maximum out of the whole 2 weeks. I mean, we're not out that much in this year's TT, but.
Well, how much is a set?
They creeped up a bit now. Like most things, yeah, they're at £300 and something a set now. So
ouch.
Yeah, I think
about
three.
Add up pretty quickly.
Yeah, I was at the Dunlop guys there, and they said about £300 a set. I think they were for Dunlop. But yeah, no, they all vary in different things, and yeah, they do.
No, this is a working tent, so the team is here, so we're just going to work around you guys.
But yeah.
Go, just ignore me, seriously.
But yeah, other than that, yeah, costs and stuff wise can be can go up quite a bit, really, to be honest.
And is there any kind of site that you know of where, you know, possible sponsors and riders can match up or something? Or what's the best way? Because I know there's probably loads of guys who could do with a bit of money.
I don't think it's that sort of thing. It's mainly just looking on, you know, even if you just look in the program, you'll see the riders' names, go on their Facebook, and majority of riders have like their own racing page. You know, if you look on the program, you'll probably see that they're on there, you know, and you know, drop them a message. You know, I mean, some riders will do a GoFundMe page, you know, but this year I didn't have to do any of that really. It was more word of mouth and, you know, just people I know, you know, friends and stuff, you know. So yeah, it's just sort of a case of
if you had to put a number on how much the whole project is, you know,
for this one, bike, for the twin, well, yeah, technically we bought the bike for £1,200, and then we spent about, and you probably laugh at this, I think it was about £800 on parts for the engine, because the engine was actually blown up, wasn't it, when we got it? So it was about 800 quid in parts, and then £1,500 for the labour to get the engine done and tuned a little bit. Wow. And then just the odd sods and bits for what we needed really. I mean, we had Andy had a spare bike which we used, pretty much took all the bits off it. You know, I mean, I had a little spill on it last week. We had to nick the tank, the fairings, and all the other bits. So yeah, loads of little bits do add up, to be honest.
Well, how much would a competitive bike be?
Competitive? I mean,
this
is
how much
fairly
do the big
competitive.
guys spend, do you reckon?
Oh, geez, I wouldn't know. You know, they'd be. I mean, they got big sponsors. You know, big names. Oh, there you go. Yeah, 120,000 for the pattern. Jesus, that's quite a lot, isn't it? Yeah. So it just shows you, the sky's the limit with the racing. You can make it as cheap as you want, but then you're not going to have the that sort of performance, really, are you? You know.
And in your class, the Super Twins,
that can vary as well. I mean, this is not your average, SV.
If you had like a blank check, how much would you?
Oh, you could put, well, I mean, yeah, you could put 10.5 grand on just a bike alone. You know, you could buy an ER6. You know, I mean, we nearly did buy an ER6 for about 10 grand, and that had spare wheels with it, and that was it, and an engine that was. Yeah, it was fairly fresh, fairly good to go, but it's but even then you could spend a bit more money on it just to to get it suit to you. You know, I mean, yeah, it can vary.
I mean, obviously you have the advantage of your logo, so your travel costs are.
There's that. I mean, the TT probably, well, they do help out. You know, the UK and the sort of like European riders, they do. You know, and like you said, you just couldn't do it on your own if you were just sort of working away on your own. It'd be difficult unless you got loads of money. You could do it, but. Other than that, without the sponsors, you just couldn't have done it this year. No way.
Well, that's why I kind of
very good.
I want to do this sort of video too.
Yeah, I know it is.
I'm guessing most people don't realise that you can support riders, and
yeah, you can.
Every penny counts, kind of thing, isn't it?
It definitely does. Yeah, like I mean, people do say they ask what costs of fuel, and even if I've got Ellen Van and Fuels, they sponsored us for for the fuel this year.
Local fuel company. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, good. And but yeah, it all does help. It really does.
I mean, this year you're also the first ever Bitcoin bike, which may have something to do with my day job, which I'm not going to bore you with.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So there's, Andy from Affinity, there's CSP we're using, they gave some money. And we even have Visor, which is a Philippine motoring magazine I write for. It's all sorts of people come together to make this happen. I mean, the sponsorship we sorted out, we're on to minor sponsors. Biker Nexus, obviously your main sponsor.
Oh yeah, they did. Yeah, they helped us out a lot. Yeah, no, they're really good. And they've got an app as well, which is really good. You can go on it, and it's post ride repeat as they call it, and you can basically.
I'll take some shots of the bike.
Yeah, no, it's good. Yeah, you might be able to put a link on it as well, which is.
It just shows you like there's loads of people give loads of different amounts and. It all comes together to make this happen.
Definitely, no, it is, and it's like you said. I was sort of taken back about how much help I got this year. Really, I don't know if it was because of the buzz of the TT just coming back, or maybe I think it might have been something to do with that. But other than that, yeah, I was like I said, I was really sort of thankful for it. Really, it really was good.
Cool. Well, I'll let you get on with the job then.
Cheers, Frank.
Because I'm totally in the way here. I've got the angry mechanics looking at me. Okay.
No, I know you're getting in the way.
Right, I'm out of here. So, just a quick recap. While Matt and the team are going through scrutineering and then into Parc Fermé ahead of tonight's practice. As you've seen from him, the costs to run a TT can add up pretty quickly. He spends, almost a grand TT on fuel alone. He spends, hundreds on tires. Of course, if you have a bigger bike or you have more bikes, then those costs all add up. And Matt also has the massive advantage that he doesn't have any travel costs. He runs a bike workshop just down the road here. So for him, it's just a matter of, coming down here after work. But for a lot of the smaller teams, the travel costs are also absolutely massive to come here. It's not cheap to come to the Isle of Man, I'll tell you that much. But the fact is, without all the smaller teams, the TT wouldn't be what it is. It would just be 10 or maybe 20 guys racing each other, and it would be really, really boring. It's all the small teams, all the amateurs who come here to just, experience the thrill and this unique race, this unique experience. It's those guys, those small teams who save all year, who are on shoestring budgets and who appreciate every penny in support that make the TT what it is. Without them, it wouldn't have the same atmosphere. The whole paddock, the whole area down there that I walked through the other day, that would be empty. So don't be shy about, approaching riders about sponsorship. Like Matt said, look up their Facebook pages and, see if any of them appreciate a bit of support. And it doesn't have to be thousands. Any small amount is appreciated by many of them, because small amounts go a long way here when it comes to, buying things like tires and parts and whatnot. So if anyone does know of any good big Facebook pages or websites that exists where possible sponsors or people who want to support racers and racers who are looking for support can exchange information and meet, Please do let me know in the comments, because I would love to feature that and, you know, promote that more. And I'm getting quite good reach on YouTube now, thanks to all you guys, which is really weird. The weirdest thing is when I walk around the paddock area here and people recognize me from YouTube. Never thought I'd do that, but there you go. But it's awesome, you know, I love this. And I love to help the TT and the smaller teams. And Matt isn't the first time that I've sponsored a team or a rider. I try and do that more or less every year now, and these aren't big amounts. I don't have big amounts. I'm not a millionaire. I don't have a big house or anything. But it's my way of sort of promoting and supporting the races that I love. And it gets you as close as no other experience. You're not just a spectator, you become part of it. And there's nothing cooler than that. So that's about all I can really say about the topic. I'm now going to go down the road, catch some more footage of the practice, which starts in something like 10-15 minutes. So yeah, please do consider, you know, sponsoring a rider or supporting a rider or a team. And if you have spare cash and you don't know who to give it to, you can always drop me a message, and I'll keep an eye and an ear out around here for anyone who needs support. And then you can not just be a spectator, you can be a sponsor, just like the big guys in Formula 1 and MotoGP, except this sport isn't boring.